Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining me. I can't believe it's the beginning of December, December 2nd. Good grief. It passes so fast. I was just mentioning that it would be great just to have a pause button just for a few moments, just to press pause. So we're going to hop right into today's session. So get yourself nice and cozy. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the session. Now, if you are unable to make it live, don't fret. You can always go to mmarzak.com to catch the replays, or if you want to go ahead and book yourself a private session where we can get into the nitty-gritty. This is a general session for the world. So if you have specific things that you would like to work with, I'm happy to guide you through those. All right, so in we go. Get yourself nice and comfortable, and I'm going to go ahead and tune in. And the first place that I'm being brought to is to the lungs. There's a few things impacting the lungs. They feel really heavy and mucousy. So first thing we're going to go and do is actually a general body chemistry, but it almost feels like there needs to be that even the immune system, the immune response to go up if there happens to be viruses or colds or bacteria, stagnant, or, my mom, it's an Eastern European thing. Maybe some other nationalities say this, but the wind caught you. She's like, would tell me, "Oi, Monica, you didn't wear your scarf and you're walking around with your throat all open." It's my mother. The wind caught you. The wind caught you. So it feels like that on the wind. We're doing a 5. First, we need to do a 5 elements balancing within the lungs. There's too much wind in the lungs. We need to rebalance the lung to the elements. So we're doing a full 5 elements balancing within the lungs. There. So air is needed. The wind is needed. You need to breathe, but it feels when the wind gets too, when any of the elements is too much, there leans to being an imbalance, a dysfunction, and a reducing of the efficacy of the organ. And just relax now. It's like, whew, all of that wind, like that. When someone talks and they're long-windy and they're not really, you're like, just get to it. Just hurry up and say what you need to say. And so this is going into our own long-windiness. So all of the talking that you do and you don't necessarily say anything, so that there's uncertainty, even how to speak or what to say. And this is linking into the throat and through the vocal cords, and also in relation to the throat chakra is coming up. So there's a few repairs being done. So I'm seeing all of this at the same time. So the immune response is a little bit slow. So we're going into the immune system, and it's bringing me right into the gut. We want a healthy gut. So you have a healthy gut, you have a healthy immune system. So we're doing a regeneration. So it's like a revitalization, bringing back a really healthy immune system. And there's a repair to the immune system that needs to be done. So if you just want to breathe into your gut, breathe into the small intestines, even hold your stomach. We're going way back to the age of 2. To grab some healthy stem cells to when 2 years old, from the ages of 2. Yeah, it says 2 years old. Okay, so 2 years old, bringing in healthy stem cells from the femur, bringing that up into the immune system to do, it's like a regeneration or bringing back vitality, a youthful vitality. Oh my God. I'm get feeling hot all over, and it's like I can feel my insides, my stomach vibrating. I'm getting really hot. Before I was feeling sluggish, and now woof, you saw my whole body shoot up. So a regeneration, a revitalization to the immune system and the synapse of time of response. So, oh, it's like um like a guard dog. You don't even have the invaders, so to speak, don't even have a chance to make it through. The guard dog's right there right away. There's this quick response. Oh, and if something does happen, you do catch a cold or a little bug, that guard dog is going to tear it to shreds. It's making sure that there's no invasion happening, that the body is nice and clean. So I'm holding the lungs. We're still working within the lungs and the 5 elements balancing and the repair on throat chakra. So I'm holding that space. But before we go into that work, this repair on the immune system within the gut needs to happen. And going straight into the lining, the fascial system within the gut structure, within that small intestines. Now, small intestines is a really, really, really vital. Well, all of the organs are vital in digestion, but this small intestine specifically, because it is the place where absorption happens. So you drink water, the minerals and foods go down from the stomach, it goes into the small intestines. The small intestine actually absorbs into itself water, minerals, vitamins, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, everything that it needs from the food that you eat, and then it excretes the waste. Now, if there's a malfunctioning system, if the small intestines, I'm seeing some places where the absorption, like a sponge, is too big, so everything's going through and it's not staying. There's some film, like some gunkiness. We've got some mucosa, too much mucus in there. So going to have to do a cleansing of the small intestines. So of the little the spaces within the small intestine, specifically we're going into the fascial system, and the small intestines itself, down to a cellular level, how well it absorbs the nutrients. There needs to be a balancing. We're going to go and do that with a Seedry. So a Seedry to the small intestines and the efficacy of absorption of vitamins, minerals, proteins, nutrients. Oh, my whole stomach just relaxed. And I need some support. So we're going to bring in vitamin D. It's really, really important for immunoresponse, and vitamin D activation happens in the liver. So there's a big correlation between the immune system within the microflora of the gut and the liver. We need to bring in some vitamin D. Over here in the north, we've gone into, as Jon Snow says, the winter is coming from whatever that show was. Can't remember the name of it. Anyhow, winter is here and it's cold and we get less hours of sun. So we need to take that into consideration. So I'm going to anchor this. They say that light is the best disinfectant. So we're bringing in the sun. Oh, that feels so good. Oh, I don't know if you feel that relaxing. I'm just, feel like feel like just my whole body is melting. So we're anchoring this formula and bringing in the sun and the disinfectant properties of the sun. It burns out the detritus. So detritus of, here we go, too many sweets, poor eating habits, too much coffee, too much tea, not enough water, chocolate chips, junk food is coming up as something that creates a sludge within the small intestines. It creates I see a candida buildup, and actually it's quite mucousy. It's kind of gross. It looks like snot. So we need to flush that out. Going to bring in a hydration to clean out and to help the small intestines. Oof, that was quite a bit of work. Oh, good. My mouth is feeling less pasty. All right, so take a deep breath. I'm going to go ahead and tap this part in, that pre-work, that supportive work to the small intestines that needed to be done before going into the lungs. Wow, that was really big. That was a really big release. This somehow is going to be helping with mental clarity. That of course, because the small intestines is responsible for discernment. And if the small intestines is sluggish and is not functioning properly physically with its all of its duties that it has to do, and physical in relation to, the body and the system, if it's not working well, if it's not functioning well, then of course discernment is going to be off and there's going to be a foggy brain. Then the thoughts come in and take over. Mind says, oh, I know what to do. Don't trust your gut. We want that immediate gut response. That's the honest answer, or that's the truth for you. I don't like that. But that's the clear response, right? That initial gut response. We want discernment to be working well. No wishy-washiness. Do you want to eat this chocolate? Yes, no. But then again, not to go ahead and beat yourself up for choices that you make, because there's no control over the choices that you make, and who even knows what's the right choice or the good choice or the bad choice. So just to be careful of that. But we do want a good gut reaction response, that discernment coming up quickly, and then instead of the mind coming in and filtering decision making. We want that gut to be nice and healthy. Now I can go up into the lungs, and it just feels like a dampness. It just feels like a damp cloth laying on top of the lungs and on the throat. So going back to that 5 elements balancing, making sure that all of the elements are working well together within the lungs. There's not too much wind, there's not too much damp, not too much metal. They're in beautiful harmony with each other. So take a nice deep breath. And that's bringing me right into linking into the vocal cords. So we need to do general body chemistry is coming up for throat. So tonsils, larynx, your vocal box, even thyroid is coming up. Any throat tenderness or redness, or those sore throats, we're going to run a general body chemistry. So if your fingers are clean, if your fingers are nice and clean, you can go ahead and sorry, I lost my words. You can go ahead and put some spit on your finger and then put it into your belly button. You can hold your throat or your lungs, and we're going to run a general body chemistry to the throat. And we're going back into general body chemistry. Yes. So it's going to go and search and retrieve. And also there's an aspect of, there's an aspect within the throat. It's coming in as a consciousness of silencing yourself. So this is going back into what I was mentioning inside with the lungs, with that long windiness, right? Those people, or even for yourself, when you catch yourself talking and talking and talking, but you're not saying anything. You're not saying what your needs are, and you're not saying what your wants are. You have no idea yourself. And so bringing in that, it's just unclear. So we need to anchor that somehow. There's a consciousness trapped in here, and I'm just trying to find that. I'm gonna go quiet for a moment and allow the proper sentence to come up. So there's a few things going on: being laughed at for the things that I say, feeling awkward when talking. Um, there's fear of speaking up, fear of speaking up. But it's not even speaking up because there's a lot of talking, that long-windedness. So clearly stating what I need, clearly stating my wants, clearly stating my wants, clearly stating my needs. And that doesn't mean that you're speaking it out everywhere, but it's even within yourself. Speaking up for myself. And there's all of this fear. And then we've got a few things impacting this. So we've got some eighth chakra going on here, and also a planetary involvement. We've got some planets impacting the throat, and also EMFs is coming up as, I need to check this. Sorry for the rumpling of paper. I just want to make sure I've got all of my planets. Sorry. All right. Whew. We're going to go ahead and clear the eighth chakra first. Family. So we're going into both. We're going into events and environment as an eighth chakra influence over the throat, specifically the vocal cords. So tonsillitis, the tonsillitis is coming as well. So laryngitis, losing your voice, getting a sore throat, that choky feeling when you speak, anything that has to do with speaking up or speaking clearly. When someone asks you, what do you want for dinner? And then you ho-hum about all of the things that you don't want, but you don't actually say what you want. Someone asks you how you're feeling. You say everything that you're not feeling, but then you don't actually say how you're feeling. And then where thoughts come in and give rise to feeling and emotion, and that gets confused, there's an involvement and an attachment to the things that you're thinking when that you think that is true. So I think about my dog, and then I say something, well, I feel my dog should not stay outside 20 hours a day. That is not a feeling, that is a thought. But that thought gives rise to emotion, and that emotion gives rise to feeling. So it's very complex, and it's all intertangled within the throat. So we're going into a few aspects within the eighth chakra in here. So anytime you are, I'm seeing silencing, I'm seeing old habits of that old saying that children need to be seen, not heard. The same thing goes for women, men who are outspoken. Oh, just all of this silencing. I'm seeing a lot of decapitations for speaking out. So I'm seeing a lot of activists being shunned and told to sit down and be quiet. Anything that challenged the norm, anything that challenged the norm. There's also healer of past lives of witches. So I'm seeing all the witches that were burned at the stake or silenced. Oof, it's really heavy. And then we've got the environment also impacting it. And this one is specifically going into EMFs. So this whole 5G thing with all of these new, it's coming in quite a bit, quite strongly. So I don't know if you can look this up for yourself. but also geopathy is coming in as an impact. So fault lines, planetary fault lines, natural gas, underwater canals, different types of rocks and minerals. I don't know the details about all of the things that create disturbances within the cellular structure, but geopathy is coming up as something that's important, and also EMF frequencies and the new cell towers, and this I'm seeing as a holographic network impacting our cellular structure. And it's difficult. We're having a hard time absorbing it, no, evolving or moving through it. So we need to balance that out. And then there's a planetary influence. Just going through the planets. Venus, Mercury, Jupiter. So it's Uranus that's coming in as is coming in as a disturbance. And it's coming in, it's impacting. It's impacting creativity, intellectual honesty, and that rebelliousness, that speaking up. You would need to be quite rebellious, I would think, to actually be honest. First with yourself, yeah? Takes a little bit of rebellion when someone says something to ask them a question. That when you think something, you ask yourself a question. Well, there we go. We're going to go ahead and link a hydration to the throat and then also to the lungs. And then doing a nice circulation plug-in of blood and nerve to from and within, and also chi, the throat and the lungs, and doing, yep, alrighty. Is that all? Yep, okay. Circulation plug-in. That feels really nice. All right, go ahead and tap out. Take a nice deep breath and tap this in. There's a little bit of mental fog coming in, some mental exhaustion. So I'm just going to give a little bit of support for that mental drain. We're going to go ahead and do a brain drain. That's going to feel really nice. We're going to do a brain drain. And link it to a cortices. Just to get that mental fog moving out. Also, if you wanted to, we're going to link it. If you want to do this for yourself, or you can just receive. Going to do a B-bolts technique. So you can go ahead and press the back of your neck where that is, and then you gently go ahead and, that just makes the nervous system relax. Gently press the eye. You could feel the eye relaxing in. Take a nice deep breath. And you can go ahead and switch the other eye until that one just melts in as well. It's too much thinking. This relaxes the nervous system. And we're going to link this relaxed nervous system to the session. Because when you're in a relaxed place, that's when healing takes place. When the nervous system is in the parasympathetic nervous system, and the healing can take place. We want to make sure that the nervous system is nice and calm. It's not agitated. It's not doing too much thinking. And that when you're resting, rest. That even means your mind. Sometimes it's hard. We could be laying still, but our cells be moving 1,000 miles a minute. So take a deep breath and put your hand on your heart and reconnect and tune in. All right, lovies, thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you all next week.